Where do you start when everything seems to be falling apart?
Try to be sane in an insane asylum. How long you think you gonna manage? Your sanity ain't gonna manage long in an insane asylum. Everybody gotta be sane or you gonna go insane too.
Who's sending me this message? Am I not getting the message because I keep seeing it? And I'm trying to feel the energy because at one time I was fearful of it because I did see it.
I have a lot. My schedule is like really busy and kind of balancing that with spiritual life, and I guess you can call myself kind of a loner.
Sedulu House Spiritual Center would like to invite you to join our learning community by encouraging you to sign up for our monthly webinars. Our webinars offer live interactive instruction designed to help empower you in your spiritual evolution and ritual work. The webinars we provide are purposed to help you dive deeper into the concepts and calculations of the Chief Jegna of Anu Nation, Haru Yuya Asan Anu. Through the decoding and exploration of sound, symbol, ancient and contemporary text, and various other tools used to invoke a state of highest awareness, we are able to abandon the constrictions of dead thought to travel to higher states of awareness, which is our rightful designation. To view our list of webinars, go to seduluhouse.com/events. Topics for 2016 include meditation, spiritual cleansing, astral projection, chakras, crystals, water magic, candle magic, the third eye, animal totems, dreams, and sex magic. Remember, go to seduluhouse.com/events to register.
Ultimately, though, the river is going to flow each way. And you don't want to put a stoppage in either one. As I mentioned yesterday, when we're dealing with focus, what we're doing is we're not stopping the water, we're cooling it. Okay, we're cooling the water just so we can put it in a state of stasis long enough so that we can actually study it. But you know, if you put ice in a river, it's not gonna, even if it stops the river for a little while, the river's gonna melt the ice eventually and it's gonna flow again. But it's just slowing it up just long enough so we can look at the mechanisms of that actual flow. We can observe some of those past memories. We can observe and experience some of those desires. We can take a look at some of those fantasies and that eternal universal and cosmic consciousness that exists within that space. When you're able to put things in stasis and freeze it for a moment, that's when we're able to really observe past, present, and future all at once. Meditation gives you that opportunity because you're seeing things in the whole. And when you're meditating and you're looking at the whole of things, you're observing from an external point your desires and your wants, even the desires and the wants of consciousness and how it dissolves, like I said, in and out of different objects in different forms. This strengthens your meditation. Some of the thoughts that you should not have behind it. Okay, so one of the things that you don't want to think about when you don't want to think at all, but one of the ideas that you don't want to attach to the act of meditation is, how long will this take for me to get it? So that question, how long will this take? You know, this is not, you know, for some it may take lifetimes. It may take you 1,000,000 lifetimes to get it. And if you speak to many people from different ancient and archaic systems, that's the answer that they're going to give you. It will take you 1,000,000 lifetimes. Okay, so I don't give that answer, but I know that it's a possibility. So what we have to do is enjoy our awareness along the way. Enjoy the relaxation that can come from our different forms of meditation. Enjoy being creative. Find new ways to meditate. Yeah, sitting in the lotus position and, putting your eyes to the roof of your eye sockets, that may not be what works for people or for some people nowadays. Or there may just be new things to do. You may find meditating works well for you when you're rock climbing. You see, with meditation, the beauty of it is because it's a holistic observation, and you're observing the flow of energy and consciousness throughout different reality scapes. The beauty of it is that you can observe that many different ways. Staring at children on a playground play can be a form of meditation. Group meditations can be great because they multiply the energy of the actual meditation that you're focusing on. One of the things that you got to keep in mind, though, is that meditation is not escapism. Because in fact, when you're meditating, you're looking at more reality than you even look at when you're focusing. When you're focusing, you're singling in on one cross point of reality, where matter and energy converges. This is physics. Really focusing is a study of physics, but focusing is really when you're focusing on one thing. You're narrowing down to one thing. Whereas when you're meditating, you're opening yourself up to all things, to all bodies, to all realities. So you're not trying to escape from your reality. When you hear me say things about the light and love people, which is not, it's not a knock, but one of the problems is that they're constantly asking or guilting you into escaping from reality, escaping from the truth, and kind of going into this place of blissful denial. That's not meditation, okay? That's not even enlightenment. That's just denial. I mean, you don't have to join any community to be in denial. You can do that right where you're at. It's also good when you're dealing with meditation to have a separate space just for meditation. I like to have I feel like every house should have a white room, where it's painted all white and everything in it is white, and it's just a blank slate, and maybe it doesn't have that many things in it, maybe it doesn't have that much furniture, but just take a room, paint it white. You can set up a shrine in there or put nothing in there, maybe just a cushion on the floor where you can sit on.
Greetings and peace. Welcome everyone to another segment of ANU Asafo. I'm your host, Kim. And the clip you just heard was from one of Chief's shows that he did on meditation. If you'd like to hear the entire show, you can check it out on our YouTube channel, Enlightenment and Transformation TV. So today we're going to deal with some things discussed in that clip. But before we get to that, I want to make some announcements. I know that we have a lot of new listeners. So for those of you who are wondering where to start, I'll give you a hand in that. So first, I would definitely urge you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Enlightenment and Transformation TV, so that you can hear some of the older shows and some of the newer shows. That way you can kind of get a feel of some of the ANU concepts, and you'll hear some of Chief's instructions on certain things and views on certain things. You can sign up for the free Orisha classes at seduluhouse.com, as well as the first phase of the spiritual training course. Those are just, a few first steps. And I really do advise you to listen to those shows on the YouTube channel and to actually go through the Orisha classes, because a lot of times people kind of jump in the deep end first and don't really go through the training properly or get all that they can get from the training. And once they get started with the classes, they kind of have a hard time with the training or with really understanding how the classes are taught. So make sure you go through, listen to those shows. And a lot of times, sometimes they'll just quit or just abandon the class and come back a year later or whatever. And that's fine, because the classes are at your own pace. But if you're really serious about studying and getting into the course, into the class, I really suggest that you take some time to listen to some of those old shows and go through the Orisha class first. Just, make sure you take your time and digest the material. Don't just keep consuming, because I'm telling you, Chief gives out so much information. And not only just information, so many things to do. It's not just all talk. He gives a lot of, instructions on things to do. And it may be, excuse me, it can be a little bit overwhelming if you just, think it's just going to be like a regular online class or something where you just listen, answer questions, listen, answer question, listen. It's not like that. So really digest the shows, the courses, the webinars. Just take your time. Again, the class is designed to go at your own pace. There are no deadlines. You're not racing against anybody. So just take your time, and you'll have so many experiences as you go through each lesson that honestly you can't rush through it. You'd be, robbing yourself of something very valuable if you try to do it that way. So take it seriously and take your time. And for those of you who are already students or are just looking for spiritual supplies, you can go to alphaomegastore.com. You can find what you need for rituals. All of the ANU books and DVDs are there as well. And some other miscellaneous items. So check that website out. We're adding things to that daily. So make sure you check out Alpha Omega Store for all of your spiritual supply needs. If you feel like you need some direction or guidance, you can schedule a reading on any of the websites. That can be seduluhouse.com, anunation.org, and osirislife.com. Osiris Life offers 3 different packages of services that include readings, coaching, and spiritual work done on your behalf. So again, you can go to any of those sites and schedule a reading. Osiris Life is really for like monthly services, if you feel like you're going to need it more often. But again, if you go to any of the sites, there's always a link on any of the sites that tell you how you can schedule a reading. So I'm going to break real quick with a message for you about those services, and I'll be right back with this strong segment of ANU Asafo.
The Alpha Omega Store is a family-owned and operated premier online store serving as your one-stop shop for all of your spiritual and self-development needs. At the Alpha Omega Store, we offer you hard-to-find spiritual and ritual supplies, books, DVDs, personal development services, monthly specials, international shipping, and more. From spiritual supplies to business products and services, our mission is to provide you with the tools that will put you on your road to success. Purchase your quality products and services today at alphaomegastore.com. Bring yourself to a place of spiritual and holistic balance with exclusive life design services at osirislife.com. At Osiris Life, we offer our members exclusive one-on-one instruction, including 3 monthly service level options to choose from, monthly spiritual consultations, monthly podcasts and videos, custom tailored development plans, spiritual work done on your behalf, life coaching and support, and working solutions with real results. Awaken to your personal greatness and purchase your membership package today at osirislife.com. And now, back to our segment.
All right, we're back. Welcome back to ANU Asafo. Again, I'm your host, Kim, and as you just heard, Sister Felicia Tara ANU just summed up some of the services that we offer on osirislife.com. So make sure you go there if you're interested in more one-on-one coaching, or you need a little bit more direction or help, than usual. Also, again, you can go to our Enlightenment and Transformation TV YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button to check out all of the shows from Mastermind Mondays to Asafo, Underground Thursday, Foundational Friday, and Chief Speaks. I think we've covered almost every day. So again, this strong, we're going to discuss a clip from one of Chief's shows that he did on meditation. And the reason I chose this clip is because, of course, our next upcoming webinar is going to be on meditation. So that's actually going to occur in January. We're not going to have one for December. So make sure you go to seduluhouse.com/events to check out a list, to check out our listing for the entire year of 2016. So you'll be able, you can, choose the ones you want to attend, and you can go ahead and register for those as well if you need to, if you'd like to, excuse me. So again, the next webinar is going to be on meditation. So if you kind of chimed in a little late today, I'm going to go ahead and play the clip one more time, and then we'll start to try to discuss and pick apart some of these concepts that Chief covered in the show.
Ultimately, though, the river is going to flow each way, and you don't want to put a stoppage in either one. As I mentioned yesterday, when we're dealing with focus, what we're doing is we're not stopping the water, we're cooling it. Okay, we're cooling the water just so we can put it in a state of stasis long enough so that we can actually study it. But if you put ice in a river, it's not gonna, even if it stops the river for a little while, the river's gonna melt the ice eventually, and it's gonna flow again. But it's just slowing it up just long enough so we can look at the mechanisms of that actual flow. We can observe some of those past memories. We can observe and experience some of those desires. We can take a look at some of those fantasies and that eternal universal and cosmic consciousness that exists within that space. When you're able to put things in stasis and freeze it for a moment, that's when we're able to really observe past, present, and future all at once. Meditation gives you that opportunity because you're seeing things in the whole. And when you're meditating and you're looking at the whole of things, you're observing from an external point your desires and your wants, even the desires and the wants of consciousness and how it dissolves, like I said, in and out of different objects in different forms. This strengthens your meditation. Some of the thoughts that you should not have behind it. Okay, so one of the things that you don't want to think about when you don't want to think at all, but one of the ideas that you don't want to attach to the active meditation is, how long will this take for me to get it? So that question, how long will this take? This is not, for some it may take lifetimes. It may take you 1,000,000 lifetimes to get it. And if you speak to many people from different ancient and archaic systems, that's the answer that they're going to give you. It will take you 1,000,000 lifetimes. Okay, so I don't give that answer, but I know that it's a possibility. So what we have to do is enjoy our awareness along the way. Enjoy the relaxation that can come from our different forms of meditation. Enjoy being creative. Find new ways to meditate. Yeah, sitting in the lotus position and, putting your eyes to the roof of your eye sockets, that may not be what works for people or for some people nowadays. Or there may just be new things to do. You may find meditating works well for you when you're rock climbing. You see, with meditation, the beauty of it is because it's a holistic observation, and you're observing the flow of energy and consciousness throughout different reality-scapes. The beauty of it is that you can observe that many different ways. Staring at children on a playground play can be a form of meditation. Group meditations can be great because they multiply the energy of the actual meditation that you're focusing on. One of the things that you got to keep in mind, though, is that meditation is not escapism. Because in fact, when you're meditating, you're looking at more reality than you even look at when you're focusing. When you're focusing, you're singling in on one cross point of reality, where matter and energy converges. This is physics. Really focusing is a study of physics, but focusing is really when you're focusing on one thing. You're narrowing down to one thing. Whereas when you're meditating, you're opening yourself up to all things, to all bodies, to all realities. So you're not trying to escape from your reality. When you hear me say things about the light and love people, which is not, it's not a knock, but one of the problems is that they're constantly asking or guilting you into escaping from reality, escaping from the truth, and kind of going into this place of blissful denial. That's not meditation, okay? That's not even enlightenment. That's just denial. I mean, you don't have to join any community to be in denial. You can do that right where you're at. It's also good when you're dealing with meditation to have a separate space just for meditation. I like to have I feel like every house should have a white room, where it's painted all white and everything in it is white, and it's just a blank slate, and maybe it doesn't have that many things, and maybe it doesn't have that much furniture, but just take a room, paint it white. You can set up a shrine in there or put nothing in there, maybe just a cushion on the floor where you can sit on.
Okay, so that was the clip from a show that Chief did on meditation, in case you missed it at the beginning of the show. And before I continue, I just wanted to let you all know that the format for all of the enlightenment and transformation shows will be changing soon, and that will happen actually in January. So starting in January, all of the shows, we're going to combine them into more like a service that will be aired on Sundays with Chief Speaks, and that's going to start in January. So now we're no longer going to be doing like individual shows. Everything will be kind of wrapped up into one, and I think you'll like this format. It'll be more it'll just be more compact, and I think it'll just have a better flow. So those shows will still be on Sundays on it's going to broadcast on Enlightenment and Transformation and High Frequency Radio. So stay tuned for that. Now back to this clip. So you heard the first thing I want to bring out is something he said about focus, and we're talking about being in meditation, this first part of the clip. And he said that we're not stopping the water, we're just cooling it so that you can study it. So what I understood about this, and I learned this when I started practicing a daily meditation. Sometimes when you get into meditation and you buy these little little recordings or self-help books and tapes and everything, they'll try to tell you that you should get in a quiet place and sit in lotus position or whatever, and you got to completely stop your thought, completely clear your mind. And like he said in the clip, you're not stopping the water, you're just cooling it so that you can study it, because our minds are so cluttered, especially when you first start. You don't know how to calm your mind like that just instantly. Thoughts are going to come. And a lot of people get frustrated with meditation because when they start off, they find that they can't do it. They can't just completely erase their mind or let it go completely blank. And you won't be able to do it. And honestly, that is not the goal. That's not the intention. So what you do is, like you said, you just let the water, you just let it flow. Or I like to use like a cloud example. It's like watching clouds just go by. So you just kind of sit there and you just observe the thoughts as they come and go. And so eventually they'll start to slow down a little bit. So like when you first start off, it's like you're thinking about everything at once. Got to pay the bills. I got to go pick up the kids. I got to do this. Oh, I forgot to clean this. I need to run to the store and pick up this. I don't know what I'm cooking for dinner. I mean, you'll be able to actually just sit there and see how crazy, how busy your mind is all the time. And it'll almost become kind of ridiculous. You're like, gosh, I'm never at peace. But that's the whole point of meditation. It's just to get you to stop and observe, instead of just reacting and moving all the time. So you're not going to be able to completely just erase your mind and let your mind go blank, like they tell you to do in these books and stuff when you're meditating. And like I said, that's not the goal. You want to be able to sit there and just observe the thoughts. Because one thing that you'll find once all that chatter kind of slows down, that's when you'll start to be able to really observe some things and look at your life objectively, without all of the emotion and everything. And then you can kind of start to piece together, how all these series of events in your life kind of brought you to where you are at that point. So you can step out of yourself kind of and just look at it. And then you'll see that a lot of the things that you worry about, like these thoughts will come and go so quickly. Like you won't be able to focus on, as much as we worry about things, when you sit there and you're meditating, you won't be able to focus on those things longer than a few seconds before another thought rushes in. So it almost makes you think, gosh, I spend so much of my time worrying about things that are so transient. You hear me say that all the time, like these emotions and things are so fleeting. And that's another thing it does. It makes you realize how fleeting some things are that we just really put too much emphasis and too much attention on. We just give it too much attention. So you'll be able to kind of look at that stuff objectively and say, this is where I'm headed. Or now I can stop and look and see that, wow, maybe I don't need to make this decision. I may need to go a different way. And, when I heard him say this, it made me think of like a lot of callers that call in to Chief Speaks, or that may even call in for readings, and they ask, which Orisha is on their head, so to speak. And really, like I said, if you look at your life kind of like in this panoramic view, just a series of events, you can see things like as a whole. And that's what he said in the clip, past, present, and future. You can see these things and you can start to see patterns of things that you do. Like every time I try, maybe if you try to force a decision, force something that you want, I wanted this and I went for it, didn't get it. You'll start to see, why didn't I get it? And it's all because maybe your soul was kind of orchestrating things in your life to go a certain way, to nudge you in a different direction. Like you said, the spirit can always be corrupted, but the soul can't. So, your spirit may have been a little wayward and you made this decision when you should have made another decision, but your soul is always trying to order things in your life so that it can fulfill its purpose. So you'll start to see, like, why did I get turned down for this job, but I stayed at this job for 5 years? And then when I tried to leave, I couldn't leave. And then you'll be able to say, what was I supposed to learn from that 5-year period? Why was I there for 5 years? Or, everything, when I forced it, or when I went after something I wanted, it never worked out. Why? And that's probably because that's not what that wasn't a lesson that you needed to have in order to fulfill your soul's purpose, or to put you on the path for that. And so that's when we start making these mistakes and things happen in our lives, and we wonder, why did I have to go through all that pain? Or why did I, these are like these little hiccups, in your life. But if you're just constantly moving and going, and you're never able to sit down and think and just really look at this stuff objectively, it'll go right over your head and you'll be completely lost. And that's when, we'll be calling Chief saying, help, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what direction, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I just don't get it. I keep trying this and trying that. It just doesn't seem to work out. And that's just because we're just not paying attention. But, we live in a society where we're constantly stimulated with all this external stuff. and even more so now we got social media, it's, I don't know how many channels on TV. We got Netflix. We got all this stuff going on. You got, you commute to and, going to and coming from work every day. So then you're, constantly around just tons of different energies and people. So we have all these external things coming at us all the time, on top of all the responsibilities you have, and you're connected to your phone all the time, looking at your calendars and emails and all this kind of stuff. So you never get a break. Your mind you never get a chance to sit down and just kind of process what's going on. And another thing that you'll find when you finally start to get into your meditation is, because you've never done it and because your mind has never been that calm, the first thing you'll do is fall asleep. A lot of people, they get into these meditations where they listen to soft music or something. And the first thing they'll do is just completely fall asleep, because you've never been that relaxed before, ever, and still awake. So that's another hurdle that you got to kind of get over too, once you start meditating. How do you meditate without falling asleep? The next point I wanted to bring out is, he said, don't ask him how long it takes. It's kind of irritating. And, when we do this, it's just because, we're impatient, because, like I said, because of the kind of culture we live in, the kind of environment that we live in, we're always looking to complete whatever it is. Like, okay, I got to go to school for 4 years. After I do that, I got to do this for such and such years. This should only take 6 months. I need to do this. We're always looking for the end point so that we can finally stop or get a break. But in meditation, the process is the journey. And in spiritual evolution, the process, that is the journey. So there is no end. And, like he said, some gurus or some teachers will tell you, like it takes 1 million lifetimes. And and I think that I used to wonder all the time, also when I started meditating, I started to chant a lot of different mantras. And these mantras can be long, very long, pages long. And you'll find that, I found that once I started studying Buddhism, they'll tell you that you may have to repeat a certain prayer or a certain mantra 400,000 times, and it's like one mantra or one prayer can take you maybe 2 or 3 minutes to recite. So how are you supposed to do this 400,000 times? And who's going to count? Are you actually going to sit there and count, doing this mantra 400,000 times? But I figured out, the reason why they say that is because you're not going to count, and that's just the answer. When someone asks you how long does it take, they'll say, okay, you got to repeat it 400,000 times in order to not be reborn into the lower realms, and the fact what it is that you'll completely forget about counting. You'll completely forget about it. You're not going to sit there with a counter and say, okay, I'm on 1,569. This is 1,623. I've done it this many times. Am I there yet? You're just not going to do it. And along the way, like I said, you'll have so many different experiences, and you'll come to a place where things start to come into some type of order, and you'll have a certain peace within yourself that you're not looking for the end anymore. You can just go with the flow of things. You can sit there, like I said, and just kind of observe the clouds and watch them come and go, or just let the water flow, and you can flow with the water. You're not in a rush to get to an end so you can start something else, or so I can see, what do I get? What's the prize when I finish? That's not the goal. And over time, just chanting and repeating these ancient temple languages, these prayers in these ancient languages, they open up certain things in your brain, certain that you probably have never used before. And when that happens, like I said, you'll find yourself just in a completely different space than you were before. So it changes you physically and, spiritually. All these things are going on so many different levels that you're not trying to count or see when you're going to get to an end. And the last thing he brought up was everyone should have a meditation room. And I think this is very important. That was the first thing that I established in my house before I got into any deeper level of spirituality or actually started studying anything. Before I even got into the ANU spiritual training, I had a meditation room. And one of the things I did in my room is I kind of primed that room just for meditation. So even the times that I wasn't in that room meditating, I would have like a mantra or a certain tone or a sound or some type of meditation music or something going all the time, even when I wasn't there in that room. And that's just to kind of keep that room at a level of just peace, or to keep it tranquil, so that when I would enter into that room, it's already ready, the mood is set, so to speak. And in that meditation room, I only had maybe like a candle, my meditation cushion, and like I said, the little iPod dock or whatever that I played the music on. I didn't have a lot of things. And I like to meditate with a candle, and that's just because it gave me a focal point. I didn't do so well with just sitting there closing my eyes. Sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't. But sometimes the candle would help a lot, and that's kind of what did it for me. But having that meditation room and keeping that meditation room sacred, not allowing certain people to go in, or with a certain type of attitude or disposition, and just kind of keeping it sacred for meditating only is so invaluable. I mean, you really notice a difference, in your life. And I encourage everybody out there to definitely have some kind of space in your house where you can go and just kind of get away from everything. And so with the meditation, just start with maybe 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, and see if you can handle that, and then just slowly bump it up a little bit. You'll find that 5 minutes feels like 30. It's really amazing that, when you sit there, you don't realize, in the regular world, in the physical world, 5 minutes goes by like seconds. But when you're sitting there meditating with your eyes closed, or, just sitting there with your thoughts, 5 minutes feels like forever until you start to maybe incorporate other things into your meditation, like mantras or whatnot. But it will feel like forever. And again, this just shows you how fleeting and just unimportant some things are, that we just spend too much time focusing on and giving our energy away to. Some of these things are just not that important. So anyway, I hope this kind of encouraged you or helped you understand meditation a little bit more. And again, in January, starting January, that will be our webinar for that month. And we're going to go over some meditation techniques. We'll go over some of the, history of meditation, and, how meditation works with the brain. And just we'll go into these concepts a little bit deeper. So you can go to seduluhouse.com/events to go ahead and register for that if you like. And I will see you all and speak to you all then. So until next strong, I am Kim, your host of ANU Asafo, and enjoy your day. Peace.